According to RightScale, more than 84% of businesses and enterprise organizations, they have a multi-cloud strategy in place. But as multi-cloud becomes the standard for application deployment, your application components become distributed across many environments. So as a result, what happens is that this leads to fragmentation and other complex challenges for delivering your applications effectively. To ensure operational and features consistency for all of your applications across the cloud and on-premise environments, you basically need an application delivery solution with a single code base. Welcome to this lecture. My name is Syed, and I'm an enterprise architect and project manager, bringing real-world enterprise-level experience. At ClayDesk, we teach over 1 million students online with latest technology courses. So let's take a look at what hybrid cloud is all about and why you need to learn hybrid cloud right now. Hybrid cloud is a solution that combines a private cloud with one or more public cloud services, with proprietary software enabling communication between each distinct service. A hybrid cloud strategy provides businesses primarily with greater flexibility by moving workloads between cloud solutions as need and costs fluctuate. They're very powerful because it provides enterprise organizations greater control over their private data. In other words, an organization can simply store sensitive data on a private cloud or local data center and simultaneously leverage on the robust computational resources of a managed public cloud such as AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud Platform, or even Red Hat. A hybrid cloud relies on a single plane of management, unlike a multi-cloud strategy where admins must manage each cloud environment separately. So this is a key difference. The infrastructure of hybrid cloud generally includes a public infrastructure such as infrastructure as a service platform, a private cloud or data center, and access to a secure network. And many hybrid models leverage local area networks as well as wide area networks. So enterprise organizations adopting basically a hybrid strategy would typically start with an infrastructure as a service solution and extend functionalities to the private cloud. So in order to deploy a hybrid strategy effectively, the public and private clouds must be compatible with each other so they can communicate. In many cases, the private cloud is constructed to be compatible with the public solution. And as we move forward, I'm going to demonstrate also using the AWS solution to this, right? In recent years, just note that infrastructure as a solution provider such as Amazon or AWS, Google, Microsoft have made it easier for enterprise organizations to connect their local resources to the public cloud solution. The application programming interfaces, also known as API, improve native interoperability between these services. So hybrid architects or solutions architect may deploy, let's say, a hypervisor layer to generate virtual machines that connect to the public cloud using or via another software layer responsible for orchestration among cloud environments. And as these enterprise organizations continue down the path of digital transformation, basically the move to the cloud has become a given, and hybrid and multi-cloud environments have become the solution of choice. But while this brave new multi-cloud world offers the probability, flexibility, and security these enterprise companies desire, it has also made application delivery much more complicated because now you have multiple environments to work with. You have the on-premise infrastructure as well as the public cloud infrastructure. So this is a real challenge. To regain control of the applications at the heart of your business, right? To basically unlock the true economic benefit of the cloud, what you need is an application delivery controller, also known as the ADC, along with a management and orchestration platform that provides complete visibility into the entire application infrastructure. Now I mentioned the application delivery, right? So the application delivery challenge, what is that all about? Enterprise organizations rely, as I mentioned earlier, on applications and data for real-time updates, new business insights, and competitive advantage. But achieving this can push the on-premise environments to a breaking point. Let me give you an example. The AWS, for example, has come up with the solution. And what is the AWS solution? The AWS Application Discovery Service is designed to help identify your on-premise application inventory and dependencies. Basically, equipped with this insight, you can then design, and as a solutions architect, the migration plan and architect your Amazon Virtual Private Cloud, known as the Amazon VPC, and of course EC2 instances based on your application requirements. Selectively deploy load balancers, use Amazon Route 53, maybe using CloudFront for content delivery network, and auto-scaling groups to automate or optimize application delivery. But how can you extend your application environment on AWS? Well, it's not that difficult. As long as you're comfortable or you have the right skill set, you can basically architect a solution. You can securely and cost-effectively migrate the applications portfolio to AWS and architect your AWS environment for the data residency and access management requirements for your organization. You can also host web applications on AWS that are connected to your data center. Basically, extend your corporate network into the cloud, launch additional servers, or add more compute capacity to your network. So for example, the AWS VPC enables you to provision in a private, isolated section of the AWS cloud where you can launch resources in a virtual network that you basically define. You can provision public and private subnets to connect your Amazon VPC to the internet, your data center, and other Amazon VPCs based on your application requirements. Moving forward is the elastic load balancing. So once you have the VPC in place, the elastic load balancing automatically distribute the incoming application traffic across multiple Amazon EC2 instances with two options primarily. First, you can set up a classic load balancer, which simply routes the traffic based on application or network level information and is ideal for load balancing of traffic across multiple EC2 instances. And second, you can also set up an application load balancer, which basically routes traffic based on advanced application level information that includes the content of the request. So managing application delivery that spans AWS and on-premises, right? So primarily, AWS offers a highly scalable, reliable, and secure set of application delivery services, enabling you to design your AWS cloud application architecture for optimal performance and security. For applications that span AWS and on-premise environments, you can complete or rather complement and extend the AWS services with even third-party application delivery controller ADC software deployed with the machine image or the known as the Amazon machine image from the AWS marketplace. So let me go ahead and quickly do a short demonstration so you know exactly what the application delivery challenge is and how AWS addresses it and how we can set up or work with the application delivery controller. So I'm going to go ahead and navigate to the AWS Management Console. Perfect. So once you're logged into your AWS Management Console, just simply search for the application delivery controller. So I'm going to go ahead and type application delivery controller, right? So this brings up the application delivery service, which allows you to discover on-premise application inventory and dependencies. And that's exactly what I just talked about. So just click on this service. And what this will do, it's going to go ahead and simply use the application discovery service in order to connect to your on-premise data or data center or your servers, and then try to discover what is required. And the service that AWS uses is called AWS Migration Hub. If you notice on the top left on the tab, it says Migration Hub, right? You can navigate to the dashboard, or under Discover, you can discover servers, applications, data collectors, and so forth. So this is a great tool which you can use to have a hybrid cloud environment. And once again, the challenge is really the fact that you need to make sure that your applications are optimized, right? And delivered in real time to the client. So this allows you to ensure, or this tool particularly allows you to ensure that your applications run smooth, right? So you can take a look at this. You can go to the dashboard. What Discover would do is simply import data, deploy AWS Discovery tools, group servers as applications, and then get EC2 instance recommendations. It assesses, right? Migration Hub simplifies and accelerates the discovery and migration from your on-premise servers, and then eventually migrate using the migration tools. This is exactly how you migrate your applications and make sure that your public cloud, which is the AWS, right? That's what you're using, and connecting to your on-premise hybrid. And this eventually will give you the ability to even migrate all to the cloud itself. So just go ahead, practice with this. Just wanted to kind of show you exactly what and how Migration Hub kind of works and what does it do.
Hi everybody, and welcome to this lesson on looking at the Migration Hub. So now that we know or have a good understanding of what the Migration Hub is, we have a good understanding of the cloud infrastructure and migrating strategies and why we should or should not migrate to AWS. The Migration Hub is basically the main tool that is utilized by AWS to help you migrate your resources to the cloud, to AWS, in a very streamlined fashion. So this is the main dashboard that is provided by AWS that allows you to essentially manage everything, your entire migration process. One thing to note, you'll see Cloud Endure. It is a free service, free migration service, which we'll take a look at in the next lab, which helps you migrate your infrastructure to AWS. It's essentially like I mentioned in the previous lesson, a company which is owned and operated by AWS, which is why it makes it very seamless to use Cloud Endure to help you migrate within AWS. So in the main dashboard, you can see it'll show you, your most used applications that you've been using, the tools, the migration status in terms of, the servers and applications which have started, the progress and the complete, and the overtime. So it gives you a very good detailed view of your entire migration ecosystem. And here on the right-hand side, you have quick access to a lot of the different tools which are provided by AWS, which we had briefly discussed, the connectors, the tools, the programs, let's say if you wanted assistance by AWS and so on. So here on the left-hand side is where we have all the different options for using the dashboard provided by AWS. So the main steps in terms of migrating to the AWS ecosystem or to the cloud in general is first step is obviously discovery, which is where we discover or you discover, all the different infrastructure and applications that you have operating within your environment. So after the discovery is done, that's when you go ahead and you migrate all of that infrastructure to AWS. And here there's also an option for assessing, which is a good tool, which we'll quickly take a look at in an upcoming lesson. It gives you recommendations on what type of virtual machines or hardware you should use in AWS based on your current hardware. So it's a very, very good tool, especially if you are looking at a rebuild strategy in your migration. This would be a very good tool to utilize. So in the Discover options, we have multiple options within the Discover pane. We have servers, applications, the data collectors, and tools. In the servers, it gives you a good overview in terms of how many servers you have within the migration process, what servers you're what servers you're including, what servers you're not including. As you guys can see, there's an error because I'm in the process of deleting this and going back to the original state. Now, each server is grouped into what's called an application. So application is a good way to group various servers because most of the time, let's say if you are working in a web environment, you'll have one or two or multiple servers that are acting as web servers or that are acting as database servers or that are acting as file servers and so on. So it's good to group those servers within applications and so you can logically move your infrastructure to the cloud. Now, obviously that's not the case for every organization. So you might only have one server and essentially one application because you only have one server that does everything for you, or you have one server that's a web server, and then you have another server that's a file server, and so on. So it's not a requirement that you have to have multiple servers within each application, but they are grouped with applications. Then you have the data collectors, which are basically the agents that are running on the servers in your network to collect the data of your server. And we'll look at how we use the data collectors in collecting information about our hardware or our applications within our infrastructure. And here are the three main tools which are provided by AWS. So first, we can either import our infrastructure into AWS. So for example, let's say if we don't want to run any kind of discovery agent on our infrastructure, we simply want to hard code what should be imported into AWS in terms of what should be provisioned. We can import a CSV file. So if I click on the import template, so here's basically an import template. So here we can populate it with as many servers as we want, right? So, but it does get very detailed in terms of the BIOS ID, IP address, MAC address, and so on. So I will include this in the download section for you guys to view, or you can, again, or better yet, you are also able to download it directly from your AWS dashboard. So if you want to do it manually, you are able to do that, or you can have a discovery connector or a discovery agent. Main difference is if you are running a VMware environment, then you would want to use a discovery connector because it's an agentless connector that works with vSphere and your vCenter. If you are not working in a VMware environment, then you'd want to use a discovery agent, which basically gets installed on your physical server or on your virtual machines, and it collects all of the data. And we'll look at how we use a discovery agent in the upcoming lab. Additionally, you can also click on this. It gives you a good information in terms of how each one differs. So it gives you a good breakdown in terms of the cost. All three of them are free. The supported OSs, importing or the discovery connector or the agent, it's a very good table for you to use and understand which one will be better suited for what you are trying to do. And you also have partner solutions, which again, we looked at the various partners that AWS has that help you migrate your infrastructure to AWS. So these are all the different tools that are provided by AWS in terms of discovery. Then you have the migrate, which again takes you through your migration process of what's currently pending, what's completed, or if anything has errored out. Here would be all the applications, the file servers, the database servers, and so on, and the tools. Before, these three tools are the import, discovery connector, and the agent are for discovering your infrastructure. Now, after the infrastructure is discovered, to actually migrate to AWS, there are various tools. We have the server migration service. We have the Cloud Endor. Now, the server migration service, again, is inbuilt within the AWS ecosystem. Cloud Endor is a separate organization, but also it is an AWS company. Or you also have third parties, which is ATA Motion or River Meadow, which you can utilize to help you migrate your infrastructure to the cloud. And then the AWS also has the database migration service, which is specific to helping you migrate your databases to the cloud. So after you have your discovery, you can use any one of these 4 or 5 services or tools which are provided by AWS or third parties to actually do the migration of your infrastructure, of essentially copying everything that's in your server and moving it to the cloud. So that's essentially the Migration Hub, a very, very good and powerful tool to help you manage your entire migration process.
So now that you've seen the actual service in AWS, for example, the benefits of hybrid cloud strategy really stems from the solution's ability to give IT leaders, network administrators, solutions architects increased control over the data. So essentially, the hybrid model provides the businesses with multiple options so that stakeholders, managers can pick an environment that best suits for each individual use case based on the application or number of applications that the organization is running. So most businesses do not utilize the same level of computation power every single day. And that's the power of public cloud, because you only pay for what you use. In fact, an organization may find that its resources need only, let's say, a certain EC2 instance or certain storage or certain servers at a specific time during the day. So you can only use for that particular time frame. So who uses hybrid cloud? Businesses across the spectrum of industries, for example, have moved towards hybrid solutions to reduce costs and strain on local resources. So whether you're in the financial sector or the healthcare industry, hybrid cloud environments have proven to be effective at not only improving computing and storage power, but also optimizing the scarce resources of physical space. Many enterprise organizations simply don't have the room available to deploy servers on site because not only they're expensive, but they're difficult to manage. So, for example, in the health industry, data privacy is paramount. HIPAA laws and compliance is key, and privately held computation resources are lacking. So, a hybrid cloud model would be an ideal solution because that would allow all these healthcare industry or medical groups to retain patient data in a secure private server with simultaneously leveraging the advanced power of the public infrastructure as a service model. And of course, AWS, for example, once again provides multiple layers of security. So what are the use cases of hybrid cloud? For example, there'll be new applications. Launching a new application with an untested workload carries with it a level of mystery, of course, right? Cloud-driven businesses have to take on a certain amount of risk anytime and try something new. So hybrid cloud mitigates that risk by reducing the need for a substantial initial upfront cost. The businesses or enterprise organizations can deploy the new app and only pay for the resources it uses, like I mentioned earlier, rather than paying them upfront. So if the app fails or gets shelved for another reason, the businesses won't be out very much money. Second is the regulatory compliance. Certain industries are regulated to protect private data. I mentioned this earlier as well. So hybrid cloud allows businesses to comply with regulations while still benefiting from the expanded and cost-effective computing power. And of course, since the introduction of the GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulation in the European Union, many organizations have divided their data among several solutions in order to comply with the EU regulations, while at the same time operating under a different set of regulations in the United States and other countries. Then you have the workload anomalies. Of course, the future is unpredictable, and an application might run efficiently in its current environment today, but may require additional computational power tomorrow. Maybe you have hundreds of thousands of new users, right? There's a huge spike in usage. So you need to set up additional servers. And the easier way to set up or spin up additional servers is on the cloud. So how is hybrid cloud managed? Managing hybrid cloud is certainly a complex task because each cloud solution has its own API, storage, management protocols, networking capabilities, and so on. So mastering each solution's complexities is possible, but perhaps not sustainable. For that reason, professionals or solutions architect responsible for hybrid cloud management quite often construct a single interface to manage all cloud services seamlessly. And that's the best way to manage a hybrid cloud. Building such an interface requires a team that is familiar with handling cloud solutions and getting disparate networks to communicate effectively. And that's exactly what AWS certified individuals or solutions architect are able to do, is devise an effective hybrid cloud strategy. And you can use other providers as well. You don't have to just use AWS, for example. AWS being the largest public cloud in the world, by the way, controlling over 40% of the cloud market. Because AWS offers robust features including content delivery, computational power, networking features, and database management. You can also use Google Cloud Platform. It's relatively new as compared to AWS, but GCP has gotten up to speed pretty fast. Google's enterprise, basically, or the ability to access to cutting-edge machine learning and big data technologies is really the power of Google Cloud Platform that you can leverage. You can also use Microsoft Azure as a public cloud, which is the second most popular public cloud, by the way. Microsoft Azure was an early supporter of the hybrid model. The service offers excellent support for hybrid cloud architects, which means new projects can get off the ground faster. And since majority of the enterprise organizations, they're using other Microsoft products such as Office 365 and so on. So is the hybrid cloud strategy right for your enterprise organization? Well, the hybrid cloud model is an effective way to align your IT priorities with your business needs. And many businesses certainly can benefit from utilizing hybrid cloud over other options. So if you're deciding between hybrid, public, and private options, hybrid clearly provides the most flexibility. Whether or not the enterprise organization requires that level of flexibility really depends on the business goals, the regulatory environment, just like I mentioned, maybe you're in the healthcare industry, in which basically it lives, and how much those needs may change in the near future. And this hybrid cloud can be a great option, by the way, for businesses with a private cloud infrastructure already in place. You can leverage platform as a service options to interface with the public cloud, and that really makes doing so easy. Organizations that want to better secure their data without losing the power of public cloud can benefit by moving sensitive data to the private cloud and interfacing with the public resources. And finally, hybrid cloud is highly valuable for organizations with dynamic workloads. In other words, large amounts of data to process or large mix of IT services. The real flexibility, scalability, and responsiveness of the hybrid model cannot be understated. Plus, of course, the ability to only pay for additional resources when absolutely necessary. This can really help enterprise organizations save on costs quite considerably. So I hope this helps. In this lecture, just wanted to cover why you need to learn hybrid cloud right now. So if you are, let's say, a solutions architect, IT administrator, you need to understand the hybrid cloud environment and have not only the concept clear, but also a tool such as AWS Migration Hub or the ADC, the Discovery Service, so you're able to use and test workloads. So the best way is to, of course, do hands-on. You can open up an AWS free tier account, and that's the best way you can have a sample application install and then run it through your own environment, whether it's on-premise as well as the cloud. And you can set up VPCs, load balancer, and so on. So you can check out other videos where I show several tutorials and, of course, full courses where you can actually learn hands-on working with AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud. If you have any questions, post in the discussion area. And of course, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And with this, I will see you next time.